Hello, welcome to another video. Looking at the my little thing, making the daytime protocol, which all it does is print the dates. Um, and you can see an example of such if you go to something like that. All it does is print the date. Um, so what I thought I would do was last time we kind of looked at making a status. So the server now like kind of prints out a status every second, I believe. So if we kind of see that, the status is blank by design, but the client doesn't actually have any sort of status information at all. So if I run this, I don't know what it's doing. What I would like to do is add that same sort of status mechanism into the client. So I open up both of these and maybe I'll get the client going first. We can maybe, yeah. So if we have a look at this and like this is, so the top is the server and the bottom is the client. So in the server, how I was doing the status was in this show status, which it currently does not much, but it used this notion of timer FD. So in main, there should be a pardon me, timer FD, which we create. Going to be non-blocking because everything is, and we set the time to be like how when we start. So we'll start in 1 nanosecond from now. We can't start immediately, but we can start in 1 nanosecond. And then every 1 second, we will have some sort of event in this timer FD. And we basically chucked it in our FD set in the server, which is using poll select, I mean. Whereas in the client, which is down here, and just do that again, we don't have a notion of this, and we actually use poll. So what we want to do is kind of make it so we can do this. And I think I want to have them side by side, actually. And maybe do something like this. So how we go about this. So we'll see where like poll is actually it's called a handle child. And handle child is this thing that we kind of do like that. Yeah, so I think this can kind of work a similar kind of sense. So what we can do is do that. We want a similar loop to that wasn't what I wanted. That was we wanted a similar loop, and we're going to do kind of similar what we did last time, which what is that? So in the server, we're working out what the last is. We don't actually need to care about last. And we also need to up here have a Forks FDs. Is that what we called this? Yeah, Forks FDs, and this is going to be similar thing. So we can't see that. What I can do is do something like this and uh, do, yeah. Oh, something like that. Good chuck of time in. What I want to do is go here, and this is going to be size of, and this is going to be int, and here we can go for these equal no, then there is, oh, that wasn't what I wanted, take me back, yeah, that was, and oh, you don't know where I was, do you? I was just down here. Anyhow, I want to do that similar thing. So we will be forking, and then after every fork, we want to get a, yeah, we have this same code over here. We can um, this thing. So we basically want this stuff over here. Except instead of this, we don't want to do that. So because the client is currently using poll, what I might do is have that same kind of setup. And so what does poll need? It needs a struct poll FD. So we kind of need to have a struct poll FD start for polls. So over here we had a forks set, but here we now going to have a forks polls. And this is going to be help and fork count, and this is going to be size of struct poll FD. Cool. And so if this, I should have saved that. My thing. Anyhow, so what I want to do is actually make this be like that and go up here. And where do we do things? We want to do an int star for FDs, and this is going to be null. And then I also want to get this and for polls, and this is going to be null. And then I want to go down the bar, and here I want to, well, yeah, I want to be FDs and same thing here, except here I want it to be, what is it, polls. And, oh no, I wanted to, again, ah, ah, well, I lost it now. Polls. Right, so anyhow, jump back to where I was. Yeah, that was where I was. So, when we do this, we want to basically shuffle this through. The whole purpose of this is so we can actually have a timer as well. So we need to have this +1. And I guess here we can go for polls 0 equals, so this is going to be a struct poll FD. And FD can be, well, in fact, no, let's not do that. So if we had this, we now can go for polls, and then it'll be that same for ID, and this is going to be a strike poll D, and this is going to be FD, and it's going to be FD, and we're also going to want events equals poll in, and that is the case. Uh, yeah. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? So we're basically sending the polls, and then after here, now we're wanting to do int poll, and this can be poll, and we kind of need to know how many things we have in there. So to start with, NF is its NFB. Whoa, my keycap literally just flew off from my typing. Must not have pushed it off fully, but yeah, my keycap literally just flew off. It feels like the most you can be on, but yeah, I can just like flip that off. That's interesting. Oh, right now I need to work out where I was again. Or am I wanting to go for no I? Oh, right. So it was down by where I'm waiting. Um, what's the type for this? NFTs, T's. NFTs, T. So this is going to be whole count. Well, in fact, what do you call it? NFTs. Um, NFTs. And this is going to be fork count plus one. We're going to add in a timer soon. In fact, we could even add in the timer here. It's all this stuff here. And it's likely just verbatim. I would assume, except this one. So this one here would be for holes, and next we want to call this now just holes. Did we not set something a bit further up where we? Interesting, it didn't find that. All right, cool. Anyhow, so that is going to be the polls, and we're also going to want polls, and this is going to be for uh, count. Um, um, yeah. Um, yeah. Apologies. Anyhow, so here we want to do like that thing, and this is going to be FD. It's going to be timer FD, and we're wanting to get in something like that. So here we should have book count +1 because we just added that. So here was the order, the array, then the thing, then the timeout. We could actually just use the timeout with all the wait FDs and not have the yeah. Interesting. I wonder if down here I could have just done the same. Like have the timeout. But I kind of, I don't know. It's kind of. I'll just keep it. Anyhow, it was the array. So this was going to be polls, and this was going to be NFTs, and the timeout. I'll do -1, I believe. So here the timeout is specifying negative infinite timeout. So we won't wake up straight away. Right, so if we have polled, we should first check it. Sorry, we're down in that little window there. So if hold equal, then we should probably talk about it. And like maybe break. We'll break out of this. And I think here I will do that same loop. So this is making sure that we have everything, but it will likely not run again. So here we woken plus plus, and we would also want to do some woken type things. So if we so over here, if we selected, we like, so here we check whether it is set, but what I want to do here is here and kind of want this one to be no, that wasn't what I wanted. I want for I don't know. Here's the part where I slowly do them things. So anyway, here at this point here we can assume that it's size t because it's not negative. Equals 0 and plus plus. I is going to be less than hold in this case. And I plus plus, there we go. Cool. So in this little loop, which I kind of want to go like that. No, that's I don't know. But maybe if we go back, yeah, now we can see at least a little bit more. Need to get better with my window foo. Oh, I kind of want more. Let's just cheat and do some mousing. Cool. So in this point, we're now gonna be polling everything, but we kind of want to check whether it is the timer FD, because at this point here we might have the timer FD. So first we want to check whether events is non-zero except our events. If that is the case, we'll just continue. Otherwise, we can get the FD, which is pose a dot FD, cool. And if FD equals the timer FD, then we just want to go show status, yeah, and we'll pass in the timer FD and the well, what do we want to pass in here? Pass in the polls, I guess, and probably because of that, we also want to pass in the NFTs. And we can pass in the status buffered. Kind of need a thing here. What I potentially might do is in the server we can like the show status surely only returns -1 here. We can probably do this stuff just wherever it because we already do something, so we can probably just do this and instead just pass it next read, and then like you don't really need to pass in that so we'll just want to make sure that we have that in places, and then this would be the forks, and then here I'd do it, but just put in that. Well, I think that's kind of what I want to do. And then in here we don't have that. Oh, we're still compiling that. But if we try the server, yeah, so that works. But we'll go back to the client for now. But for now, we'll anyhow. So when we do this, if we can do this, we show status, and if the show status returned us -1, then we'll do some things, and those things will be we'll get take me there, then do that and that. Perfect. So in the case that the status line failed for whatever reason, we'll just remove the timer FD, which will end up being close timer FD. And I wonder if that does it in both cases. So we would close the timer FD. We would want to Now we'll go like polls, NFTs. So we would probably want to say that there's one less thing now. And that means that we can take the index that we're at and grab in whatever is currently at the end, and potentially only do that if that is the case. And then we want to do like an I minus minus and then continue. So we process the same one again. And we probably also want to do an I is less than NFTs as well as I being less than the poll. Well, it's we just don't really care about how many there are because, like, I don't know, you kind of have to go through them all. I think is roughly how I understand it. Anyhow, so we'll do that and we'll kind of loop it back around. Maybe this can be like that. Let's keep it like that. And so that is what happens if we get a time RFD. Otherwise, what other FDs will there be? It will just be these. Now we have to wait for some process. Just this code, I believe, which probably should get right. Do we already have J? No, we don't have J. I feel like this doesn't do everything it should. I suppose down there, I don't know. We also kind of like need to go through all the faults and make sure they're closed. I feel like if working is less than, well, we can say this is unreachable. Working is less than full count, and I can even say that this is something like this, and then working full. Yeah, I believe that is unreachable that point there, and this can be like that. So what we should be doing is we do close it. Oh, so every time that we get a thing, we should close it, and that closes that. And so I feel like this code is like not needed. But we also kind of need to do size ti. I is less than count. And do something like this. And then if these I greater than 0, then we'll close it. And this whole thing, we can do that and do that. I believe that is something along the lines of what I want to do. Anyhow, what was I going for really? So yeah, I believe this code is really unreachable, and the counterpart will be the same over here. I would say. But yeah, at this point here, forks. We do some closing and stuff. And here we would do a similar thing to this. We take one off and um, right, did that do too much? So we kind of go to the end. I don't really care about this, but if not found, it's like that. Then we work them up. And then this will just naturally continue out of the bigger loop, this whole thing. Cool. So that's just kind of closing that as we go down, and then eventually NFDs. Something like that. And what condition do we have on this? We do this calculation there, and that's when we do that kind of early break. But here we kind of keep track of it. Cool. So now, apparently that's not declared. I'm going to take me there. Forks. Well, like I kind of like this name, but I guess this one, fork. Wow, yeah, I don't know. Fork FDs. Yes, we potentially just do that. Probably could have done a little search, but we don't do too many. Cool. So now, what don't you like? We don't have this, so here we needed some things. Probably just all of that. No, not that far. Just there. Timer FD doesn't exist, but we can make it exist. Where's our FD? We don't actually have any. And timer FD equals -1, and then down the bottom, if timer FD not equal to -1, then we will close the timer FD. That's just what we'll do. Right, that should be a semicolon. Show status, and is that our only warning? I believe that is. So show status, we can probably just take this and like we have stuff there, and yeah, I don't know, like maybe put something there. And so now, theoretically, we should have a server that prints a status and a client that is now going to print a status on wherever I am. Cool. So now what should I print in the statuses? I don't know. What would be something useful? I might just stick with the server for now. So we'll switch back to the server. In our status, potentially I will just show whether it is idle or not. What else do I think? What else do I think? There's a lot of things to think. Um, yeah, so anyway, I would want to know whether it is currently active or not. So I think this is potentially the time to kind of make a little context for statistics, I guess. And we can status. We can probably just call it a status, something like this. And so what will this have in it? It will have a timer FD, which we can do things about. I just realized, oh no, because I changed it. So we don't have that here. And yeah, cool. So I just return. Yeah. Anyhow, take me back here. So what do we want in here? We want to know whether it is third or not. And we kind of want to know what our active connections are. I think that would be a useful statistic. And potentially like how many we've done in total, like handled. And like you could put in like timing stats over time, but yeah, we'll just do something like that. So now we want a status T, and we can just call something like that. And here we can status that. And perhaps if status equal, we can go to -1. And like perhaps here I want something like this. Yeah, I want to check whether this exists and then kind of do that. And then just this kind of happens no matter what. And that was the else of this red. But we do a return there. Cool. So I think that's kind of what we have. And now here we can start printing out some of those stats that we just put in. And here we wanted status do something like that, and I just realized that's basically what it was. Cool. So if this is the case, then we can now say like handle this many. Maybe we can prefix it like that, and then we can also say active is maybe the same, where we could have up to that many things in it. And perhaps I'm like I want to do things a little like that. And now we can say status handled, and then status active. And perhaps I might swap those two around there, just so that's what it is. Cool. So now this will probably blank because we don't have the right things. So I guess we need to know how many things we've done in total. So I guess here we can potentially just pass in a status T status, and that's kind of what we passed in, I think. And if status not equal to null, and status primary FD, perhaps I can do something like this. So it'll be there, otherwise it'll be status timer FD, something like that. And here we want to say if like just that again. Yeah, that's what we want. And then down here, the timer FD will kind of work still, this one. And then here, we just want to pass in the status, I guess. So if we have a status, I guess we need to update that active set. So I guess guess to start with, this would be 0. Well, in fact, we can kind of track it along here because we don't really want to track it for everything. But if we have something, then we will do it. So, like, for example, handle listener probably tells us that it connected with something. So it's success, I guess, but I kind of want to know whether it accepted a thing. Perhaps I want to change this. So currently we just ignore the result. Cool. So perhaps I want this to be more like this. And like maybe if it's all good, that's all good. Redo that, redo that, redo that, redo that, redo that. So if ret equals -1, we have to really close that. Otherwise, we kind of want to return something like that. And then here, where do we use it? Just there and there. So would basically say we've accepted none, or we have accepted 1. And this is still none. Otherwise, we accept a file descriptor. Do we want to have the file descriptor, or do we just want to have that? I wonder. No. Take me back a couple, yeah, and then there. So if here we have equals 1, if r is greater than 0, we can probably go and if status not equal to null and r is greater than 0, we can do status active plus plus. And we do care about r now. Cool. So if we're doing the timer FD, we don't really care about any of that. Otherwise, we do a handle select. Goodness, this handle select, it takes a context, so we can pass in some stuff in the context that we would care about. Like we probably care about status, to be honest. And we can just pass that as a status, and that probably means that we need to have this, and what's the status? It was literally just there. We would pass in a status. Cool. So where else? So I guess in the context we can actually do that. So yeah, we can actually just go back to we don't really care about anymore. And because here, so what do I want to do? I want to do something like that, and get that again, and like maybe search for -1 and change that for that. do the same, do this, we do the same, do the same, do the same. And then here I can just do if status equals no, then status active plus plus. I think that's kind of what I want to do. And then this one. And then in here in handle select, we can do all the things. Now, when we remove stuff, I guess at this point here we can, if status not equal to no, then we can status active minus minus. Yeah, that sounds about right. And so we also need to worry about handled. Now, handled isn't really the case here, but perhaps this is like a failed. But perhaps we can worry more about in handle select. Like handle select has this failed connection. So in failed connection, I wonder here if context status are not equal to null, then we can do context status failed plus plus, and we can just keep a track on whether we have any that have hit a failed condition or anything like that. Otherwise, if we handle select, we basically go through into each of the handle reads and handle writes. So if we handle read, it's at this point here that we've like successfully it's kind of funny. It's this point here that we've successfully like handled it fully, handled plus plus. And I just realized I didn't want to go up there. I don't know why I did. I should probably check if context do that, because potentially I didn't pass in the context. But it could be worthwhile noting when we've shut down a connection. Because like there's multiple stages that there are. I guess for now we can just track whether how many we've successfully finished and how many we haven't. Right. It reckons we don't have status in this. That's because it's in context. So if context status and context is also E no E cool. What about E plus minus? I think I had one there. I'll just separate them out slightly. Right, so here we need to be reference that and do that. Right, what we define in context. context. No, what do we define as status? Sorry. Well, yes. Context handled should be context status handled. It kind of makes me want to do a status t status equals if context equal null, then it's null. Otherwise, it's context status. And then in here we can do something like that. It's slightly less dereferencing. Needlessly, we don't have failed, so status, we should potentially chuck in that. I did say it might be useful. And perhaps I will only actually show it if we have failed, if that makes sense. So if status failed is greater than 0, then we can do an additional one if printf std error, but not worry about the carriage return and clearing the line. We can now just go like space failed, do something like that, and then status failed, something like that. Right, so what is happening here? If in doubt, just delete them. Cool. So what's happening here? All right. So handle child, we aren't passing. Right. So handle child, we should now just kind of get rid of that notion, and we just have to pass it a null if there's nothing to pass it. Otherwise, we need to pass it a status. So if this is the case, we can probably just have a status. No, this kind of won't work actually. I can make it work. It's kind of frustrating. Because what we will need is, I might just get rid of this error, and we don't have any yet, but what we will have is basically a pointer to a status object in main, and it's going to be map and map failed. I think that's what I want. And so what we're going to have is mmap, which needs this man. No, take me there, and man. So in here, if we go back to kind of where I was, mmap, it can return map underscore failed. It is that. Cool. So if status not equal to map underscore failed, then we want to mun map status and size of a dereference version of status. I believe that's kind of what we want to do. Yeah, cool. So we want to like allocate that space as well. But perhaps we can do that after doing some things. It's kind of interesting because we don't really need to map it if we've only got one fork. In fact, it's like a waste of time if we do that. But it's kind of like an edge case. But perhaps I do care about it enough that I will kind of do it in here. So if that is the case, we want to do in map, and how do we go about these things? So what we want is non-emis. So I think it's got even like a example. Nah. All right. So what do we need? -1 anonymous, and we can also do map shared, which is what we want. So null 0, null size approach. We want to say it's read write. Then anonymous and shared. Then -1. Then 0. Ugh. What I'll do is copy paste that. It's actually in the other thing, but oh well. Take me here and then like, huh. All right. Anyway, so we'll have that, and we'll have that, and we'll have props read, and we'll also have props write, and we'll have map non. In fact, they'll probably have it, yeah, and would also want map shared. And the FD was going to be -1, and the offset was going to be 0. Whew. Cool. And then if status equal to map failed, then we'll just print LO error message. So this will be that apologies, that got real small. And then we'll do a return defer, and we can do exit failure. Perfect. So now we have like a status object, and it should be zeroed out, and it should be writable from all of the children, if that makes sense. Yeah, this was kind of interesting. So like all of the children are going to be writing into the status. So I guess here we do actually want to pass in that status. But then in here we kind of want to pass a different status. Here I think I want to make a new status, which is the same as the pointer of the current status. So it basically takes a snapshot, and we will go copy dot timer FD equals timer FD, because we don't really want that set on everything. And I just realized show status, yeah, just requires the whole thing like that. I just want it like that, I think. think. Oh no. We'll see what happens. And so that means well, I guess I'll clear this again. Oh, come on. Status. This is almost like two different things. Like these are more stats. Which the stats can kind of get passed through as is, and then the status will just have the stats T. I think that's kind of what I want. And then basically means we don't have to pass in the well, this needs a status. So inside of handle child, we need to have a status object. I think I will go back to just having a big set, and we will pass it a copy each time. So make a snapshot and then just say this is the timer FD, and this is the fact that it is buffered, is status buffered. Do something like that. We don't have that anymore. This was now going to be that, which may just be null. Well, this is null. This is no. This is in the case that we actually want to have our own version status T single stats, and this can start off with being timer FD equals timer FD, and we can also have a buffered equals. I need to turn on this heater. I'm starting to feel the face a bit more. Just wait till it's on the right Wi-Fi, and this will be status buffered like that. Perfect. And then here we would do passing the single stats. Something like that. Perfect. It compiles, so that just means it works. Perfect. So there we can, I don't know, shove some things in it. And you can see there it's going, and it doesn't have much active things that it's saying it's failing many times. Which is interesting because we get the 100,000 in response. And I guess if I don't do the word count and maybe do just 10, we can see what that says. So yeah, reckons failed still, but we can see here it is printing out the date as expected. So the failed plus plus is, we shouldn't be doing the failed plus plus. Failed plus plus. So at this point here, it's because we're calling failed connection. Unlike all cases, so handle read kind of returns us something. It returns us failure when we succeed, if that kind of makes sense. So what I think I want to make this do is actually do a -1, and we can search for well, we can change this to 0 and that to 0, and uh, uh, techniques there, and then this can be -1, and then this can be 1, just to say that we have done a thing. And then wherever we call handle read, it's a special case, I guess. So this can be something like that, and if r equal to -1, then we want a fail connection. Perhaps I could do a switch on R, and we can do case of -1, and in that case we would be failing the connection. A case of 0, which is not caring, and a case of 1, which is something else, and a default case of unreachable, unexpected return from handle read, and we can pass it in value from that, and we can pass in our R. And that is the case. So if we fail connection, it is doing that. Now, if we kind of want to do like a define remove connection, and that is majority of this. Except this part, and maybe that part. And then a fail connection, it can do a remove connection, which will do all of the above, and then it can do this things here. And then that way we can, this point here, we can just do remove connection. But do I want to quit at this point? So handle select. Because before it was kind of exiting completely. But here I feel like, yeah, this, we do want to remove connection and then like an exit. Perhaps I won't remove connection to do the fail code. In which case I might do a little rep here and do a rep there and do that kind of thing. And then in which case I can do exit success. Does that not like it? Oh, that's because we don't give fail code here, so we give it that sort of thing. Cool. So now that just magically works. So if we do 10, cool. So now it's doing 10. It's not saying there's any errors. So if we do the 100,000, we can see what it's doing. And yeah, it's doing like 20 at a time. It's not doing them quick. The server is still doing it select based. And I mean, this active isn't really account of active. No, it is. It is kind of account of active because we'll close things once we kind of get the receiving code. But yeah, anyhow, that's basically the server tied off. So what I might do is add that kind of. Well, we added stuff to the client, so I'll do the client. The client bare bones stuff, and then we'll not do the server stuff. So here we add bare bones status to client. And then here we can check in the a few things there. So handled active failed in server basis. Yeah, and then we can kind of do the same for the client. So if we look at client to start with, and maybe have a look-see to see the show status. So potentially all I need to do is have a similar sort of thing here. That wherever we have show status, we can do that. That's all good. And now if we like kind of compile, it will just be like, that's not the case. And now we can kind of just work back from there and try and work out where the status thing is going to go. Now, I think for a client, we probably want that status thing like that. Oh, and I realized, actually, we'll go back to the server because I have just realized that it might not actually be as concurrent friendly as I thought. So we can do stuff with in here we have like a few texts, which we do some few texting on. But we also have a atomic operation, so we can do we have any other atomics? Yeah, so we can do like an atomic fetch add. So is there like no, not like help, like most K atomic. I remember this. There's like primitives. That will probably tell me. There's primitives that you can like. Probably there's an increment type primitive. Because what is the problem is when I'm kind of doing this, the plus plus is not atomic, I guess. So I wonder what is happening with the CSS. Does this like just? Oh no, cool. So can we just? Yeah, one web page is all good. this is just the whole of libc. All right. Do we have atomic in here? Atomic types, cool. What? I mean, I call it a thing in this atomic fetch add. Atomic fetch add, yeah. So it is in some kind of a standard. So yeah, we could do an atomic fetch add and just add one, right? I feel like that's all good. So what we can do, and like what types can we do atomic on? Because in here we probably say that this is, we're allowed last ID to just be a cool. All right. If that is the case, then right. So we know what it is, and we just want to add one. Right. So where else do we get status dash something? Here we also get it. So we can probably do atomic fetch sub, maybe fetch sub, yeah. Fetch sub, and we can pass in that whole thing. And this can be -1. And I just realized I might get a status status, and this can be equal to context slash status. And that is what happens when you do that. If this is equal to null, well, actually, no. If context is equal to null, then this will be null. Otherwise, it will be context slash status. Yeah, that's the one. And that whole thing means that here we don't need to do a bit more work. So we actually only want to sub one off it. So here we can do the same atomic fetch add of that one. Now the fetch add, this was like on a pointer, was it? Yeah, this was on a pointer. So we need to can't do that maybe. I want the search again. This we can probably make a status equal context equal to null, then it's null, otherwise it's context status. Then here we can do something like that. And here we want to do the atomic fetch add of pointer to that and 1. Ooh. And here we want it to be a pointer of, here the pointer of. Cool. So now does that like kind of we need atomics and whatnot. So what do we have here for? We just have is the atomic. Track that in. So now we run that. I wonder if this will change that. Yeah. So now the active count is much, 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 much more what I would have expected. Um, though we're only meant to. Yeah, active isn't coming down, I guess. Active never comes down. So I want to make sure the stats on the server are right before I do that. So active, where do we will do it when so we accept a connection. We are now active, I guess. The handle right. We do some things. Handle read. We do some things, and we return the fur here, and we've handled it, but we haven't deferred it. Yeah, I guess here, I also want to remove active. So when we remove a connection, it's no longer active. When we failed it, we'll also kind of mark it as failing. So now if we do this, it should have like tens of thousands of active connections. Is that right? So hopefully by the end of it, it goes down to 0. It doesn't. So remove connection should at some point remove connection, right? So this is when we're just single threaded. All right. So this is when we're just single threaded. Useful to know. So like in main, just down there, I should probably change some of this out because when we're single threaded, we will just do this and have that, and we'll just have a single stats, which will get passed to the child, which the child would update. I wonder if I need a pointer to them all. Nah, because it gets up to the right number. Like, it's not a random number. Like, it is exactly the same as the number it's handled. So, active, we should have one that adds one and one that subs one. And removing connection, I believe, is like kind of removing the connection. So the other thing is I could potentially in the height status pass in how big my maps are. Because that can be somewhat useful to know. I kind of want to get that active down there. So I guess one thing to do, make sure I'm in the right tab. If we have multiple things, cool. So the map, this file, Dress length. So we want length to be size of status, something like that. So now this is multi-threaded. Both are going up. It looks like it's just, that's what it is. So handle select. It should do fail connection when things fail, or remove connection. A remove connection should do the maybe if we like yeah, so active is having like some effect there. Like things are happening there. Oh no. Let's just go for one and we'll just make a connection. It's currently active. We close it. It doesn't close it. But if we now do like, I don't know, take off a large chunk, we can see whether that kind of hits. Doesn't hit then, we close it. It hits then, but for some reason it like when does it add it back on? It just seems bizarre. So they'll be doing it in there, and I believe that means here we don't want to do that there. Because we're doing it there, and we were just foolishly adding before. So if we do this, we should be able to run the 1,000, and it should show us how many are active at one point in time, which I don't know, maybe that's right. It's only doing like 30 at a time. It seems like it should be doing more than that, but active goes down to 0. That kind of makes sense. If we like multi-thread it by like a bunch, we can see whether active does more. Active does do more. It can only go up to 1,000 per, so potentially we would only see any benefit after a few, but yeah, it's hard to know. Well, now that we've got the server properly working, what I can do is now get that show status. We don't need to change anything in here, I don't believe. Yeah, so that same sort of stuff should be fine in client. but if we make sure this is all right, so here that meant that in main we kind of wanted another type of thing here. This was going to be a status T, and it will just be default to that, and one here, do something like that, and then forks equal. So when we do this, we can also do the like whatever it was. So I might. We can do it, yeah, yes, we can. So in here we had a status equal, no, this one, and do something like that. So that would bring in that. And then so in here, it was complaining that we weren't passing the status everywhere we go. Is that kind of what it wanted? And then how was it? And then at the end, we kind of have a this like copy type thing. So here we can. Where is it that we do that? Just here, isn't it? So yeah, we would kind of want something like this. We'd want to make a copy, we'll do that, and we'll basically just do this thing instead of that. We don't need to do that, yeah. And we would want to really continue there. Cool. What's next? So handle child, we're actually passing it a status. So in here we did pass it a status, but the one right by here we just did. Oh yeah, what's happening here? How can we want to get this do something like that. I want to make sure it works for both single and multi. And we want to pass in that single stats for that handle child. Handle child. So handle child is also going to take in a status T status. Well, no, I was thinking of just doing it in the context, wasn't I? Is that how I did it? No, handle child doesn't have the context of a context here, but we could just put it in the child context. yeah, and I think that's potentially what should be happening is we should be going status equal status, and then just kind of remove that, and then here we can dot status equal to single stat, and then here we get that single stats like that. Yeah, and then in child, if I suppose this needs status t status needs a status there, and when we normally do it, we just pass it in, cool, and it's the minmap one, and that's our single stat version, but we pass it in a context. Cool. So in here, what were we doing in handle child when we had a status object? So we first checked whether timer FD was a thing that we needed to do. Now, does this get doesn't look like it does. This header is just ridiculous. I think I got it this time. So, in handle child, we need to add it to. So over here in handle child, we have a timer FD, and in this handle child, we don't have a timer FD, but we do like a bunch of things. Yeah. So what I forgot this had like heaps of random other stuff in. I like was kind of already printing some stats, but now we will just print our own stats. So when we get an event, so what's happening in this loop? First off, we don't even do the poll until quite late, but we need to kind of add, yeah, so we have FDs, and FDs is we only allowed max events. So we only have so many things at once. I got you. So I guess here we can maybe make it a status t status, and it can be c/status. Well, c equal null, then it's null. Otherwise, it's c/status, which could still be null. And if status not equal to null, then we and status/timer fd. Well, in fact, we can just do like, I don't know, it will do something like this. Timer fd creation and 0. Maybe I would do this. Do something like this. And then if d is greater than 0, then we would do some voodoo magic. what voodoo magic are we going to do? We're going to do FDs, NFDs plus plus, I guess, which starts off as 0. And we're going to set this to be a FD. And this is going to be a FD equal FD and dot events equal pull in. Is that kind of what I want to do? Where else do I do it? I do it like down here, but that's after doing that stuff. But now we want to get stuff from the events as well. Cool. So here we want to. I kind of want to go back to points I came, which. There, I believe. So we will go and add an event, and this kind of takes up a thing in our max events that we are able to have, but that's all good. So when we get down to actually polling the thing, so I think we'll make a socket. If we made a socket, this created, I think, if status not equal null, then atomic fetch add, and it'll be pointed to status slash active, and we're going to add 1 to it. And we don't really care about that created, but I do kind of care about. I think I kind of want to get rid of some of this debug printing, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we don't really need this created. Cool. So in here, we will basically say we have an active thing. And when we poll, we should probably here check if FD equal if status not equal to null and FD equal to status slash timer FD. If that is the case, then we will do a thing. Otherwise, we will do a different thing. But perhaps I will, just to make life a bit easier, I'll do something like that and then do a continue at the end of this. Because this is like assuming that we kind of have a thing. So, if we basically got a error, so maybe I'll open up this and open up this. So what happens here? We select things, we handle things. If we can't do the thing for whatever reason, we want to do something like this, and kind of remove a thing, and they will kind of do the trick. And remove minus telltale sign. Otherwise, if pull in not equal to 0, if we have some input to read, we should probably do the status, and we just need to pass in the status, which we already have. And if they're equal to -1, then we want to remove it from the current thing, and we probably also want to close FD. Perfect. And we don't really need to. Really, I should do something like that. I think that's kind of roughly what I want, and then we continue in either case, because it's not a thing. Cool. So if we do this removed, I'm going to get rid of that. And is it? Oh, it's actually done in a few places. We should really be doing this in the thing, but I guess if status not equal to null, then we want to do an atomic fetch sub, and we want to pass in the status and active, and we want to sub 1 off, and that will be kind of what I want. And then down here we can just do that same thing. And cool, so that's all those cases. But perhaps I also should put in the fails, I guess. So the fail will be, you could probably get rid of that for now. May bring it up again, but it is what it is. So we have the active. When we, that's just the timer one. When we get a thing, we will run it. So if this is the case, it was just invalid. So I think in this case here, we failed, and then this is also add. Now, if we can read something, one of these cases is it was good. So handle read when we defer to, that is when it was good. We did a handle heal if. So in this case, we want to do an add, and this can be handled. But other cases, we want to do the failed. So when do we do active? We do active in a few places. We add one. We can fail them. We can fail them. Sometimes we will handle them. Cool. What do we have here? We don't know about status. Where do we get? We do have a status. So I guess get that and like take me back to where I was, and then go here, and then like do something like this. Right, so this FD's ENFDs. Cool. So now theoretically, the client will also kind of show us how many active it has. So it has a lot higher count of active than what the server is seeing. There's one thing that I kind of noticed, but we got like a status little bar. Hard to know if it's does the trick, but kind of does the trick. I like it. Cool. So let's commit this up. all looks pretty straightforward to me. And it's like, cool. So get steps all. Cool. That's not what I wanted. That was the one I wanted. Cool. So that's that. The next step, I believe, will be kind of making it so both the server and the client are on par. They're both using poll, and then from there I'll go up to ePoll, and then from there IOU ring, I believe, is the next kind of logical step. But for now, thanks for watching me code like a protocol from the 80s, 1980s. It is for demo purposes, and I do hope that people are enjoying kind of watching this and finding some use out of it. But for now, I'll see you, and till next time.